Welcome, Capricorn, to your Mars in Pisces 6-week forecast. On March the 2nd through to April the 9th, Mars, the planet of hustle and bustle and desire, moves into the water sign of Pisces. I'm going to share with you on screen that exact moment that Mars arrives and the connections he has to other planets. I'll also share the wider influences of that natal chart and the upcoming influences too, to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of relationships, energy, work, and also finance. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. So there's Mars in the sign of Pisces. If we think of Mars in Pisces, it's known as being in peregrine, doesn't quite know what to do with itself. It doesn't have any essential dignities. But the water of Pisces can resist the thrust of Mars. And Mars recently for you over the last 6 weeks, it's been in the part of your chart to do with really your identity, which Mars can be about, but your sense of self-worth. You may have improved your financial situation through sheer determination, but late last week, Mars, just on that last degree of Aquarius, was in a direct clash with Uranus. If you did do something rather speculative towards the end of last week, what you'll need to do over the next few weeks is monitor that situation. But has it been that you've also been dramatically attracted to someone in a romantic context too? That's possible. Or in a romance, have you clashed badly because you and yours have different points of view over finance? All of those are possible because Mars at the end of the day can be the planet of anger. But in Pisces, the water can soften that. But for you, Mars here is very much about everyday exercise. Third house can be quick movements. Obviously, water sign, maybe swimming, but it could also be to do with circuit training. But the key is pacing yourself because the more eroding energies of Pisces can affect the physical vitality of Mars. But on the other side of the heavens, we have a direct opposition with the position of the moon in the practical, precise Virgo. The ninth house can be about where we want to expand our world, can also be about our philosophies, a need for space. That opposition with Mars suggests over the next 6 weeks, you could have some quite intense discussions with people, particularly if they've got a different viewpoint to you. And because Uranus is in a T square with both the moon and also Mars, it is obviously separating as Mars moves forward, it inverts inside the exact 90-degree square. But just know that there could be a degree of agitation. So if you're traveling anywhere, because Mars can be about impatience, don't rush it. Mercury, the planet of communication, is also retrograde in the third house. Crosswires and misunderstandings are possible, particularly around technology. So Mars here can push you over these next 6 weeks to be more physically active, but also to share your ideas. But because of the mutable and subtle energy of Pisces, it's important to, when you want to provide heft to something, you want to put a bit more thrust into it and passion, that your ideas are well thought through, well structured, but also correct, especially if you're presenting some information, perhaps around a contractual situation. And that opposition with the moon could make you a bit more niggly, and or you could encounter people who seem to be more intolerant themselves. So everyone's going to be a bit charged up by this Mars influence. It's much more difficult to embrace the more sensitive, empathetic energies of Pisces. It's going to be a lot more people picking on details that aren't quite right, and that could see you be very defensive if that happens, understandably. But in a more positive way, if you're wanting to bring some ideas to life and you need to share them with people, your determination to do them is going to be strong. It's just, it can be affected somewhat by that translucent, complex energy of Pisces. So it might not all go in a straight line. Venus, however, is in a lovely link to Uranus. I could say, as long as you don't rush it and you connect with the right people, you could encounter someone very charismatic. So if you've gone through some kind of separation or there's been an argument, I feel that Venus's charm and Uranus's uniqueness can come back to you. But of course, your ruler has now moved into your fourth house, and he's going to be asking you full time through to April 28 to work on how you feel about things. And the third house is very mental. It has a kind of Gemini feel. And because the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is in retrograde and also detrimented in Pisces, that desire to go quickly around anything you feel engaged or excited by could be really counterintuitive. So slow things down and make sure your first base is that things feel right. Now, Jupiter, the planet of fortune, has been retracing its steps for near to 4 months and goes direct on the 11th of March. Please look out for your deep dive forecast then. But Jupiter, as this month goes on, he moves forwards, so Mars plays catch up, and the two align in a trine later on in March, which can be really exciting. So if you're connecting to someone who really does understand you, you feel very aligned, good things then. However, at the middle of March, the retreating Mercury meets the advancing Mars, and you could feel a bit brittle, a bit on edge. If your nervous system feels a bit jagged through week 3, don't be entirely surprised. But in the first week of April, as Mars moves forwards, he forges a great sextile to Uranus. It's incredible how often, when I do event charts, how two planets that aggravate each other at the start of that process end up being on good terms at the end of it. So if there is someone that you have had some words with or not quite sure, you can't quite align on your ideas, it's not the case that that is not recoverable, but it will take patience. Mars in the third house, patience. If you're traveling anywhere, enjoy it. Don't try to get there at the speed of light. That will just cause frustration. You could get easily lost or confused. Mars in the third house, Mercury retrograde. But with that Saturn in the fourth house now, it's really asking to anchor all you do. So it's not just about your ideas, it's the feeling behind them that's really going to be important. So to summarize, in terms of relationships, I think something very bright can happen in the last week of March, the first week of April. When it comes to your finances, if you have done something more speculative, you may be waiting for the results and a bit unsure how they will play out. But with Venus, the planet of money, linking well to Uranus, doing something unique could just pay off for you. If you're wanting to make progress at work, do choose your words carefully. We know that work environments can be very pressurized at times, and so impatience could go against you. So just make sure that you're not getting too caught up in anyone else's drama. Even if they want to start an argument, you don't, if you're invited to it, you don't have to actually attend. So that gives you a flavour of what to expect. If you've yet to visit my new website, Capricorn, please join me. The love section, yesterday, today, tomorrow, weekly, monthly, yearly, really has come to life. Please join me for that at patrickarundel.com. For your in-depth March video, please click on the screen. For your in-depth total lunar eclipse video, please click on the screen too. Thank you.